Famed American attorney, author, and the wife of the 44th President of the United States, Michelle LaVaughn Obama, once offered, and I quote, "You are not always going to have a comfortable life, and you will not always be able to solve all of the world's problems. But do not ever underestimate the importance of what you can do. Courage can be contagious, and hope can take on a life of its own. Be it resolved that the Bahamas has the wherewithal to provide a comfortable life for its citizens." The Honorable Glenys Hanna Martin, Minister of Education, Technical and Vocational Training, Ms. Sharon Poitier, Deputy Director of Education, District Superintendents, Education Officers, debate officials, debate coaches, educators from the various public and private schools, and our stars, the debaters. Ladies and gentlemen, pleasant morning. Welcome to the 24th Annual National Debate Championship. I am Marcel J. Gibson, educator at C.H. Reeves Junior High School, and this lovely lady is Miss Kachara Marshall, Senior Mistress at L.W. Young Junior High School. It is our pleasure to serve as your moderators for today's competition.
Please stand for the national anthem and pledge, followed immediately by Ms. Whitney Charles of R.M. Bailey Senior High School, who will invite God's presence in this hall with prayer. The pledge. I pledge my allegiance to the flag and to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, for which it stands, one people united in love and service. Please remain standing for the prayer.
Let us all bow our heads in reverence of our God. Heavenly Father, we come before you with humble hearts and spirits to give you thanks for your abundant, abounding grace, glory, and all the honor for breathing the breath of life into each and every person present here today. It is by your will that we live, Lord, and we know that it is also by your will we will reap a successful competition. Heavenly Father, we give all of our thanks to you for safely gathering all of our competitors, judges, and audience to compete today. Lord, we ask that you bring all the skills practiced by each competitor so that they can give an excellent performance. Bring back to them all the wisdom and knowledge that they might have but forgotten. Let them debate well but fairly. Let competition make them strong but never hostile. Grant them the strength to best their opponent and lead them to always help the opponent up. Guide and protect us as we get through this eventful day. Cover us with your blood. We know that you know no evil that forms us against us can prosper. Bless this competition, everyone competing, the judges and the audience. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
You may be seated. Thank you, Ms. Charles, for covering this occasion with such a powerful prayer. Danae Green of Bahamas Academy will come and bring the official welcome.
A speaker once said, "Do not raise your voice. Improve your argument." Good morning and welcome to the National Debate Championship Finals. Protocol already being established, we are elated to have you all joining with us this morning. Before I forget, allow me to introduce myself. I hail from the illustrious Bahamas Academy, home of the stars. My name is Danae Green, and today I have been given the honor of welcoming you to this, the grand finale of such an outstanding event. It would seem that we are in for a treat today, as debaters from Aquinas College go head-to-head with debaters from St. Augustine's College. Judges, I hope you're ready, because it seems to me that these two teams are bringing their all. Should I take my socks off now or wait for you guys to knock them off later? We cannot wait to see what you all have in store for us today, and as much as I would love to continue, it would seem that I am running out of time for this welcome. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and of course, welcome.
Thank you, Danae. Excellent job. We are lucky today to be graced by the presence of our minister. Minister, would you stand, please? Can you give her a round of applause, please? At this time, I invite Ms. Sharon Poitier, Deputy Director of Education, to bring remarks. Please give her a round of applause as she comes.
Minister Hannah Martin, fellow educators, debating team, I simply wish to say congratulations to you all. When we talk about debating, we're talking about complementing the curriculum. And how is that done? It is done when you have to research. It is done when you negotiate, when you collaborate. It enhances your critical thinking skills. And so through these debates, you are helping us to advance the national curriculum. And so I want to say on behalf of our director and all of the educators, congratulations for advancing to this final round. I also want to say to those who have made it through the 4 rounds that you have had, that you too are winners. And so we look forward to an interesting debate. We know that the topic is one that sparks controversy, and so we are enthusiastically awaiting what the debaters will share with us this morning. And so again, thank you, congratulations.
Thank you, Deputy Director Poitier, for your encouraging remarks. Ms. Destiny Moss of the Aquinas College will now entertain us with a melodious violin performance.
Thank you.
What an amazing talent. Thank you, Destiny. Please give her a round of applause again. Just before proceeding, this is a plead. If you can, please turn your phone to the off position. And if you cannot, please ensure that it is on silent for us, please. Thank you so much. We will take this opportunity to introduce our esteemed panel of judges. Responsible for today's competition as Chief Judge is Mr. Dion Johnson. Mr. Dion Johnson is a Senior Master at T.G. Glover Professional Development and Research School. He will ably be assisted by Mr. Roston Moss, Superintendent of Police, Royal Bahamas Police Force, Mrs. Georgette Turnquest, Director, Fincastle Media Group, Mrs. Halnika Bodie-Bain, Language Arts Subject Coordinator, CA Trees Junior High School, and Mr. Paul Taylor, Language Arts Educator at C.R. Walker Senior High School. Please give them a round of applause. Our scorekeepers for today's competition includes Ms. Jennifer Miller, Acting Subject Secretary, Mathematics, Examination and Assessment Division, and Ms. Vernay Knight, Mathematics Educator, C.B. Bethel Senior High School. Please give those ladies a round of applause. And rounding out our team is Mrs. Charisma Roberts-Smith, who is self-employed, and Ms. Janice Stirrup, Mathematics Educator at H.O. Nash Junior High School, who will serve as our timekeepers today. Please give the entire team a round of applause.
Facing off in today's theoretical tussle will be the Aquinas College Aces, Jasmine Hanna, D-Ron Strapp, and T-Ron Strapp for the proposition. Let's give them a round of applause. The St. Augustine College Big Red Machine, Alexis Cadet, Tiara Stubbs, and Kobe Forbes for the opposition. Let's give them a round of applause. Before we begin the cerebral combat, let us welcome to the lectern the Chief Judge, Mr. Dion Johnson, with the rules and resolution.
Good morning. I have been tasked with an awesome responsibility to judge the minds of the future of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas in this debate. It is indeed a pleasure to share with you guidelines, debate rules, and regulations that we will be adhering to. First, I would like to say at this particular level of competition, it is now off with the gloves, off with the pretty words, the eloquent smiles. We are here now to hear your reasoning, your evidence. You will be bringing clarity and logic to your arguments. We will be listening attentively to your organization and prioritization of your timing, your structure, as well as bringing finesse to your speech. We will listen for your expressions, your vocal variety, and the way that you deliver your message. Please note, everything is on the table and all is up for grabs. As we begin the debate competition, the time allotment for speakers for both proposition and opposition are as follows. The first speaker for both proposition and opposition will speak for 7 minutes. Second speaker for both proposition and opposition will speak for 5 minutes. And the third speaker will speak for a total of 3 minutes each. The following penalties will be enforced. Up to 30 seconds over the allotted time, no penalty. Over 30 seconds and up to 1 minute a loss of 5 marks. More than 1 minute over the allotted time, a loss of 10 marks. During the rebuttal time period, teams will be allowed 5 minutes of preparation time. Teamwork must cease once the time has expired. The moderator will collect notes from both teams, which will be returned prior to the start of the rebuttal. Please be advised. The notes for the rebuttal must be written on the special paper supplied by the debate moderators. Teams observed preparing notes prior to the debate will automatically be disqualified. The order of the speaker reverses for the rebuttals. The opposition rebuts first, followed by the proposition. Each rebuttal will last no longer than 5 minutes. The use of props, for example, charts, laptops, books, and other objects are forbidden at all levels of the national debate series. As it relates to our timekeeping, colored cards and the use of a signal light will be used to indicate the amount of time allocated for each speaker during the school-based debates. Lights with the above corresponding colors, meaning green, shine the green for me, amber, and red will be used to signify your time allotment. At all levels, there will be, and right now, no personal bias to influence any of the judges. In the event of the tie, judges must decide the winner before making the announcement to the audience. And of course, the decision of the judges is final. Teams, do your best, give your best, and say your best. Thank you, good morning.
Thank you, Chief Judge. Before we begin, let me remind you one more time to ensure that your phones are either in the do not disturb or off position. And please refrain from recording and movement during the orator's presentation. Thank you. Our first speaker for the proposition, Ms. Jasmine Hanna, Aquinas College.
If the Bahamas has $100,000 to fund a trip to Belize, $200,000 to fund a trip for the Royals, $400,000 to fix roads and build sidewalks for that same visit, and $1 million to fund a trip to Dubai, then why wouldn't it have enough to provide a comfortable life for its citizens? Moderators, honorable adjudicators, worthy opponents, and audience, a pleasant morning to you all. As the first speaker of the proposition, I have the distinct pleasure of attesting to this truth, that the Bahamas has the wherewithal to provide a comfortable life for its citizens. Before we proceed, I must define the operative terms in the mood. The following definitions were excerpted from the Merriam-Webster Dictionary. Has means to own or to possess. Wherewithal is defined as any means or resources. These may include finances, skills, knowledge, ability, and mindset. To provide is to supply or make available. Comfortable, according to dictionary.com, is defined as being in a state of physical or mental contentment. According to Britannica, a citizen is a person who legally belongs to a country and has the rights and protection of that country. As first speaker, I will expound the economic aspects of the wherewithal in the Bahamas, detailing revenue, VAT, customs duty, and donations. Our second speaker will reinforce our position by highlighting our economic viability, education, and natural resources available for Bahamian citizens. Succeeding him will be our third speaker, who will explicate the tourism, health, and housing industries in relation to the wherewithal, while summing up our points. Let's face it, with accreditation from IMF and the World Bank, the Bahamas is considered a developing nation. Furthermore, with a GDP per capita income of $32,850, the Bahamas is currently the richest country in the Caribbean. Knowing this, how could we possibly say that the Bahamas does not have the wherewithal to provide a comfortable life for its citizens? The Bahamas has a seemingly steady supply of revenue. Thus, with sources of income such as VAT, customs duty and other taxes, tourism, and donations, it can be concluded that having these sources of income supply the ability of the Bahamas to provide a comfortable life for its citizens. According to the Ministry of Finance, during the fiscal year 2021 to 2022, despite Hurricane Dorian and the COVID-19 pandemic, there was an estimated $2.3 billion in total revenue. Firstly, according to CARICOM today, from just VAT alone in the first 6 months of the fiscal year, the Bahamas made $588 million. This accounted for only 59% of the tax collected within those 6 months, which means that there was an estimated income of $997 million. Now, double that, practically $2 billion in 1 year, and yet we sit and question if the Bahamas actually has the wherewithal to provide for its citizens? Secondly, Bahamas customs duty rate for the years 2021 to 2022 ranged between 0% and 220%, the average rate of duty being between 35% to 5%. In addition to the duty rates, VAT, environmental levies, and processing fees are also considered to determine import costs. This category increased by 37% to $117.4 million, while departure tax grew to $26.5 million. Overall, government revenues have outpaced projections by approximately $162 million. Revenue collections total $1.14 billion, which is an increase of $465 million. This clearly indicates that the revenue is here to provide a comfortable environment for our people. Judges, the small business initiatives have empowered Bahamians to invest in their own livelihood. There are grants, low-cost loans, and many startup programs designed to assist our people. From self-startup programs with $1,000 to $5,000 in grants, Access Accelerator with $5 million per year, and Capital Arena to business continuity grants, provisions are in place to help in empowering Bahamians. These resources indicate that we have the wherewithal to enable our people to live comfortable lives. Thirdly, in relation to revenue, because of the natural disaster we faced along with the pandemic, the Bahamas has received a number of sizable donations. 34,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines from the Pan American Health Organization, 33,000 doses of Pfizer vaccines from the United States Embassy, $1.7 billion from 49 donors to assist with rebuilding after Dorian. According to NEMA, over $13 million was distributed to nearly 4,000 families impacted by Dorian. We can clearly see that the health of our country is a top priority. The vaccine donations helped to mitigate the effects of the pandemic, while the monetary donations helped us to rebuild our lives after Dorian. The wherewithal here refers to the money and resources that were given to provide a comfortable life for our people. My opponents, when we look at the economic activity in our country, the provisions made, the resources available, we can only conclude that we do have the wherewithal. We have the resources. We have the potential. We have the capabilities. We are resilient and strong. We are Bahamians. Judges, it is not my job to tell you what to think. but to urge you to think about what I have presented this morning. Therefore, it is with great Bahamian pride that my teammates and I firmly believe that the Bahamas has the wherewithal to provide a comfortable life for its citizens. Moderator?
Thank you, Lady Jasmine. Audience members, yes, our teams represent the brightest and the best in the country, and that means that you will become excited as they are speaking. But please, we beg, we urge that you do not distract them through speaking or through the use of your cellular phones or distractions as they are presenting. Thank you all in advance. Be it resolved that the Bahamas has the wherewithal to provide a comfortable life for its citizens. Representing the opposition as the first speaker, from St. Augustine's College, help me make welcome Lady Alexis Cadet.
People have an inborn desire to be self-actualized. That is, to be all they can be. To achieve this, a number of basic and complex needs have to be met. Comfort equates to a hierarchy of needs, ranging from physiological, safety, social, self-esteem, and self-actualization needs. Behavioral psychologist Abraham Maslow, Hierarchy of Needs, adopted by Dr. David Sussman, February 14th, 2022. Moderator, judges, my most worthy opponents, audience, good morning. As we bring this contentious topic to the stand today, be it resolved that the Bahamas has the wherewithal to provide a comfortable life for its citizens, definitions are imperative to set a lucid foundation for our arguments. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines the following: wherewithal, money, resources, will, or other means, provide, to supply or make available, comfortable, affording or enjoying contentment and security, and finally citizens, as legally recognized subjects or nationals of a state. Therefore, the moot redefined reads, be it resolved that the Bahamas has the money, resources, will, or other means to supply or make available contentment and security to those who are legally recognized nationals of the state. Judges, we love our country as much as the proposition does, but as first speaker, I must present facts by outlining how our natural resources do not provide comfort. My second speaker will explore the flaws of the health, education, and social environment. And my third speaker will expose the atrocities against the most vulnerable in our country, our Bahamian women. I guarantee that instead of popularizing the phrase, it's better in the Bahamas, you instead will ask, it's better for who? Dr. Timothy Barrett, on December 20th, 2020, supported the importance of Maslow's hierarchy being met when he said, quote, our citizens are most secure when their needs are met. The lack of needs from any of that hierarchy creates psychology displacements for students, and this is why I have a job. Upon hearing this statement, we must now explore the question, does the Bahamas truly have the means, will, or resources to meet all the needs of citizens and hence provide a comfortable life? The Honorable Michael Pintard's contribution to Parliament on June 1st, 2021 answers this. He outlines that the Bahamas has, quote, 10,000 masts of marine life across the areas which most have used to farm or utilize as subsistent marine fisheries, and admits that, quote, fisheries contribute just below 1% to the GDP and employ just about 12 to 15,000 Bahamians who get by in the industry. Phrases which stand out to me here are just below 1% contribution and get by. Proposition, please explain how fishing has provided financial security for local fishermen when for years the government was contented with them getting by. How can the fishing industry provide comfort for citizens when the contribution it provides to the GDP is less than 1%? What is clear to me here is that the proposition believes that getting by is comfort, and it is obvious to anyone with a rational mind that this is not the case. Furthermore, the proposition will surely tout the presence of aragonite and how rich this resource makes us. However, then Environmental Minister Romuald Ferreira on June 22, 2020 noted, quote, "While the aragonite resources in the country are present, the material is not produced continuously and takes longer to recover. Any potential mining area stripped of aragonite will take hundreds, if not thousands of years to recover. Citing Ocean Key has shown no signs of recovery." Coupled with this, he concludes that while the industry is a billion-dollar rich one, a study he commissioned reveals, 1, the lease for royalty that the government reaps is $2 per metric ton, while it sells on the market for $900. Hence, we lose out. 2, the lease for the equipment to mine doubles the income. 3, the government and country lack the resources and manpower to mine. And 4, it is inevitable that we outsource to actually mine aragonite. So we ask proposition, who truly gets comfort from this resource if it cannot replenish itself, if it is sold at this meager rate, if it is not even possible to be done by us alone? Where is the will or means or money to provide physical and social ease and relaxation? Moreover, there is no doubt that the biggest part of our economy is tourism. People really do love our sun, sand, and sea. And the proposition will assert that because our GDP is one of the highest per capita in the Caribbean, the claim that it can provide a comfortable life for its citizens is validated. However, the facts really do beg to differ. The World Bank Poverty and Equity Report by Manuel Mera on June 7, 2020 writes this about the Bahamas, quote, "The pandemic exposes the Bahamas' vulnerability to sustain its economy, with a sharp decline of 14.5% growth in 1 year only, and a poverty rate increase to 39% in 18 months. It has driven the need for diversification outside of tourism, but with limited resources outside of the strong financial section under the scrutiny of international observers, the recovery of the US will determine the Bahamas' recovery." Furthermore, in 2014, Stuart Bowe, then chairman of the Bahamas hotel industry, revealed that 72% of large hotel chains are owned by non-Bahamians. So obviously, comfort is not being afforded to legally recognized nationals of the state. So we ask proposition, where is the wherewithal to provide comfort if our major industry relies on the economies of other countries and their recovery? How can we have financial security when our fiscal deficit is in the red? The Bahamas has a negative trade balance with a $746 million deficit, and our import is 6 times more than our export. Where is the absolute comfort for Bahamian citizens when they are at the bottom of the totem pole in the industry? Yes, tourism has employed over 70% of the population directly or indirectly, but it certainly has not provided a comfortable life when inflation is currently at 4.93% with the same minimum wage of $210 from 2015. Let's wake up, proposition. Let's face reality. Most of us are getting by, surviving. And whilst we are grateful that we are able to survive, the resources, money, and will has not and cannot provide a comfortable life. Thus, moderator.
Thank you, Ms. Alexis Cadet. Please welcome orator D. Ron Strapp, Aquinas College, for the proposition.
A rising tide lifts all boats. John F. Kennedy coined this idiom to mean that when an economy is performing well, all people will benefit. Good morning, all. As the second speaker, I will further explicate our stance by highlighting our economic viability, education, and the natural resources, and the potential they have to sustain us comfortably. Firstly, with the Bahamas covering over 5,000 square miles in the Atlantic Ocean, we have many resources: salt flats in Anagua, aragonite at Andros, and seafood exports. How can my opponent say that the Bahamas does not have the resources to provide a comfortable life for our citizens? Products such as fuel, boats, beverages, paintings, oils, and many more are shipped to many other countries, especially the United States. Even our fishing industry generates over $90 million in revenue. The World Bank states that in 2021, the GDP was $12.6 billion and is expected to trend to $12.8 billion by the end of 2022, indicating a positive recovery for the economy. Our currency, which is on par with the US dollar, is recognized for its steady performance and unwavering value. This stability anchors the economy and creates a viable investment foundation. According to the Nassau Guardian, April 6, 2022, more than $1 billion worth of investments are in the pipeline for Grand Bahama, indicating the wherewithal is here. Secondly, the Bahamas offers many ways for its citizens to get a wholesome education. How is education important? My response is a quote by U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren. A good education is a foundation for a better future. In other words, education plays one of the most vital roles in creating a comfortable life for our citizens. Free education for students ages 5 to 16 and adult courses in business, agriculture, and technical fields are all offered. Additionally, the ministry provides lunch, uniform, footwear, and books for students up to grade 12. Tuition is free at the University of the Bahamas. Encouraging careers in agriculture, BAMSI even offers scholarships and grants, while BTVI and the National Training Institute train Bahamians in vocation areas ready for the world of work, showing we have the means necessary to provide a comfortable life. Thirdly, sun, sand, and sea. Isn't this what we all boast about? Why not use them to our advantage? With the beautiful sun covering the entire Bahamas, why not go solar? Judges, we have the potential to lessen our dependence on fossil fuels by utilizing the sun, which is here. We have the wherewithal to become energy sufficient if we only use the sun to create a better life for our citizens. This brings me to another crucial point: carbon credits. My opponents, did you know that our small country has over 97,000 acres of restorable mangroves and 5.4 million hectares of seagrass that is worth $375 million per year in carbon credits? Our Prime Minister recently advised that the country would be pursuing the monetization of its carbon credits. Judges, cannabis, or marijuana, along with industrial hemp, is an industry waiting to be exploited, and the government is regulating this as another way of diversifying our agribusiness. This exposes Bahamians to a wide variety of careers, decreasing the rate of unemployment and crimes, providing some comfort in their lives. Judges, we have the sun, land, rainfall, and ideal temperatures to be self-sufficient. According to the Natural Resources Foundation, aragonite, which we have, is worth billions. The potential is here. We have the resources, the means, and the revenue. We have the wherewithal to provide a comfortable life for our citizens. My opponents, remove the scales from your eyes. Welcome to the light. The truth is, we have the wherewithal to make our citizens comfortable, and we have had it for years. The Bahamas is filled with treasures, some found, others still waiting to be discovered. As I conclude, I implore you to reconsider any doubt toward this move. Let us evaluate our resources, our financial stability, our potential, our capabilities, our resilience, our passion for life, and our faith. And I am sure that you will see we have the wherewithal to provide a comfortable life for our citizens here in the Bahamas. Moderator?
Thank you, Master Deron. Be it resolved that the Bahamas has the wherewithal to provide a comfortable life for its citizens. Representing the opposition as the second speaker, please make welcome Lady Tiara Stubbs.
As citizens, isn't it crucial that our education, our health, and our social environment are conducive to creating a comfortable life? I certainly think it is. Now, do you truly believe our Bahamas has the resources, means, money, will to provide a comfortable life for us as citizens? If yes, can you now explain why after 8 years our education has the same complaints? What about our health sector seeing little to no change? Can you defend your position when our social environment is not only not safe, but not affordable? Moderator, judges, opponents, good morning. In the absence of an authentic response, I will provide further clarity. Yes, it will make you uncomfortable, but we must deal in facts and not dabble in the proposition sensationalism. On September 2nd, 2014, Belinda Wilson, president of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, bemoaned that the public school system once again does not have adequate number of teachers, resources for the number of students, and our core classes are already overcrowded. Tribune News. 8 years later, on March 14th, 2022, she again chides that she is sick and tired of the shortage of teachers and the minister's cry of it being a legacy. The Minister of Education on January 24th, 2022 said, the physical plan of some schools are just not suitable. Opponents. If the government has not been able to transform the education system in 8 years to ensure that citizens have a fair chance for self-actualization and honing one's talent, can you seriously tout comfort at this point? Can you tout comfort on behalf of the students lacking resources, on behalf of the teachers and their salaries? And before you speak about paying for private education, you and I both know half of the parents cannot comfortably pay, hence the long list being called every month. When education fails, our country fails to provide a key component of comfort for our citizens. Can anyone here say all citizens Nassau and Family Islands are at ease with the health services provided? On January 22nd, 2022, Dr. Michael Darvell said, I believe the days should be gone when individuals that are in any sort of traumatic event are placed on the back of a truck in order to get to a facility. We must find a better way for our emergency medical services on our Family Islands and address the manpower shortage of our clinic. On August 13th, 2021, then Minister Renwood Wells argued we have to be very innovative and creative when dealing with bed and doctor shortages. Former Minister Dwayne Sands on December 10th, 2020, lamented the lack of trauma units on our Family Islands that will result in unnecessary death. When our public officials make these statements about our healthcare sector, you want us to believe we have the wherewithal to provide a comfortable life for our citizens? Why haven't they? How are you, or how can you be comfortable with a system that is short of beds, nurses, limited pay, and on our Family Islands, no trauma center? Once again, opposition, the average Bahamian cannot afford Doctors Hospital. And even so, Bahamians who should have access to affordable health care, in fear for their or their loved one's life, put themselves in lifelong debt. Quite comfortable to you, I suppose? Dr. Joel Matthew, American criminologist at Harvard University, on March 16, 2021 said, crime increases in a disorganized economy. Weak social environment increases job displacement and encounters with gang violence when socioeconomic factors are weak. Now, couple this with our 16.7% unemployment rate, macro trends, and our own commissioner's various headlines of concern. On January 22nd, 2022, Eyewitness News, he bemoaned the 63% increase in crime. On April 7th, Our News Bahamas, he also stated, ideally the force should have 4,000 officers. However, we have a shortage of 800. He added that by just the physical makeup of the Bahamas, it is difficult to police, citing places like Andros and Eleuthera,
formula. Now, judges, I bring these as evidence into question because, quite frankly, no one can tout comfort when the monstrosity of crime runs rampant with the country lacking the resources to combat it, aka wherewithal and resources are minimal. And no one should tout comfort when our social safety needs are so blatantly not met. If we had the resources, our citizens would not be uncomfortable enough to engage in criminality. My opponents, where are the resources for comfort when the people of Inagua are still recovering from 2014 Matthew? Where are the resources for comfort when our Ackland student on March 7, 2019 had to demonstrate for teacher shortage? Where are the resources for comfort when our places like Andros, Mayaguana, and Long Island have no trauma center? Where are the resources for comfort when our officials like Keith Roll claim the minimum wage is livable when it is truly a laughable $2.10 per week? Do not be disingenuous. If we had it, I would not need to be asking. Judges, the moot should fall. Moderator.
Ms. Tiara Stubbs, thank you. Proposition Final Orator, Tyron Strapp, Aquinas College. Please welcome him.
According to Caribbean Migration Consultations, about 343,000 people live legally in the Bahamas. With a $12.6 billion gross domestic product, how could the richest Caribbean nation not be able to provide a comfortable life for its own people? A pleasant morning to all. According to Eyewitness News, in November of last year, about $90 million was invested specifically into improving our public healthcare systems, which accommodates this number. NHI also allows citizens to receive help free of charge, showing that we have the wherewithal to make our citizens comfortable, even in the public healthcare system. Further, the National Insurance Board provides 10 cash benefits, 4 cash assistance, and 1 benefit in kind. These include sickness, maternity, funeral, and more. These benefits were most welcomed after Dorian and during this pandemic. My opponents may say funds are running low, but we had 2 major disasters and our people received the help they needed. Judges, our numerous breathtaking sites attract huge numbers of tourists every year, accounting for about 50% of our GDP, or $2.9 billion, according to the Bahamas Investment Authority. The revenue earned from this sector provides employment for about 50% of our labor force, while building infrastructure, providing goods and services to help us live comfortably. My opponents, the Bahamas has thousands of acres of crown land which is gifted for commercial and residential use. The Ministry of Housing provides affordable homes to low and middle income families as well as senior citizens. We have the means of providing a comfortable life for our people. Social services, community programs, and religious freedom provide social and mental contentment, which are vital to a comfortable life for us. Judges, it is important to recall that everyone's comfort level is different. My team is arguing today that the Bahamas has the wherewithal to provide this comfort. Our country has the resources to generate financial stability, many opportunities for citizens to be empowered. With the rebounding of tourism and the diversification of the economy into areas such as farming, we already see increased revenue with a mid-year budget of $959 million and increased employment. The Bahamas has potential to make its citizens comfortable. Judges, my opponents, after examining the facts today, it is unequivocally clear that the Bahamas indeed has the wherewithal to provide a comfortable life for its citizens. Moderator.
Thank you, Master Tyron. be it resolved that the Bahamas has the wherewithal to provide a comfortable life for its citizens. As third speaker and representing the opposition, help me make welcome Master Kobe Forbes.
Judges, we can see the headlines of the proposition. Tourism, best GDP comparatively, the perceived wealth of natural resources, and oh, it's better in the Bahamas. We get it. But judges, sensationalist rhetoric cannot disguise the reality that they wish to hide. The reality that our natural resources have not been developed to the point of providing holistic comfort to Bahamians. For example, with the sun we have, we are still using fossil fuels and subjected to frequent periods of load shedding. Where is the will to provide comfort? The reality is that tourism lacks sustainability because of vulnerable shocks. But the proposition wants us to feel comfortable, knowing that just one shakeup like the pandemic will cripple us. The reality is that the health, education, and social environments have not been developed simply because the money, means, and will are not there to create comfort. All points validated by my previous speakers. Protocols having been established. Good morning. Judges, we do not like the reality, but the truth must prevail. And the troubling truth is that our reality is a chilling one. Proposition, as we survey this room filled with one of the most important yet vulnerable treasures of society, our women, I must ask, does the Bahamas have the wherewithal to supply social and physical ease to you, Madam Proposition? From a legal standpoint, everyone can honestly agree that we have failed our women. On May 10, 2016, the Bahamas rejected laws to end discrimination against our women. On August 13, 2021, Senator Lisa Bostwick-Dean pleaded for Bahamians to hold another constitutional referendum to allow Bahamian women to automatically pass on their citizenship. Our own constitution has legally sidelined our women, and you now champion that the Bahamas has the wherewithal to provide a comfortable life for its citizens? Are you saying that our women's comfort, your comfort, should be subjected to the whims of society? I would hate to think you are. On March 23, 2022, in the Tribune News, activist Candy Gibson highlighted that the Bahamas has the highest rate of femicide in the region. But the most disheartening part is that she also mentions that the country has the least legislative bite, meaning that the laws or punishments for violent crimes against women are the most lenient. So, not only are we the most subjected to violence, but we must also contend with the fact that crimes against women will be punitively punished. Where is the comfort for our Bahamian women? How has the Bahamas shown that it has the means or the wherewithal to make them comfortable when discrimination, punitive measures, and femicide haunt them? And when an adult man can walk free after 4 years of statutory rape, and a public official can boldly claim that the prison sentence imposed was too long? That is almost laughable, because are you aware that the maximum sentence for rape is 7 years? Judges, I is Bahamian, the born-bred Gadair type Bahamian, but today we speak facts, not fancy rhetoric. And the unfortunate reality, as uncategorically shown today, is that we do not have the wherewithal to provide a comfortable life for our citizens. Hence, the moot should fall. Moderator.
Thank you, Master Kobe Forbes. Rebuttals. During the rebuttal period, teams are allowed 5 minutes of preparation time. Teamwork must cease at the end of that 5 minutes. The moderators will collect notes from both teams, which will be returned prior to the start of the rebuttal round. Please be advised that notes for the rebuttal round must only be written on the special paper, as our teams already know. Your 5 minutes starts now. The order of the speakers reverse for the rebuttal round. The opposition rebuts first, followed by the proposition. Each rebuttal should go no longer than 5 minutes. With the opposition's rebuttal, representing St. Augustine's College, help me make welcome Lady Alexis Cadet.
It is clear to me that the proposition's deep dive has proven to be a surface-level scrape, draped in rhetoric and sensationalism. I find it pertinent to rephrase a question from my speech. Comfort for who, proposition? First speaker, your claim that the Bahamas' funding of trips to foreign countries proves that it has the wherewithal to provide a comfortable life for its citizens is shamefully ignorant, as providing comfort or security takes far more money than all these trips combined. You also say that the Bahamas has a steady supply of revenue and use tourism as an example of this. But Manuel Mera clarifies that the economy of the Bahamas is reliant on that of the U.S. This dependence proves that the Bahamas cannot sustain its own economy without external help, something which you also prove by saying that donations assist us. If the Bahamas truly had the resources to provide health resources for its citizens, how come we needed to receive donations from other countries in the form of vaccines? Also, you say that the Bahamas made $2 billion in 1 year, but where is the will to pay off our debt of $746 million? You also champion the income made from that. But with inflation at 4.93%, we question how citizens can live comfortably on the minimum wage of $210 per week. Second speaker, your turn. You state that fishing provides $90 million for the Bahamas, but as I elucidated in my speech, the fishing industry provides less than 1% contribution to our country's GDP. So, Mr. Second Speaker, how can a 1% contribution provide comfort? Please enlighten me, because I'd love to know how a government can provide comfort to its citizens on a $90 million budget. Also, you conveniently left out a part of the definition for wherewithal. Let me remind you what it means. Money, resources, will, or other means. Your speech actually proves that the Bahamas does not possess the will to use its natural resources. You question, why not go solar? And I agree with you. Why doesn't the Bahamas use its $2 billion to invest in solar energy? Thank you for supporting our point. Furthermore, you say that education plays one of the most vital roles for providing comfort for its citizens. And again, I agree with you. But then why hasn't the Bahamas been able to transform our educational system in 8 years? Belinda Wilson bemoaned that the public school system once again does not have the adequate number of teachers and resources for the number of students, and our core classes are also overcrowded. That was 2014, opponents. 8 years later, we are still waiting for a change. Where is the will to reform our educational system? I'll leave that hanging in the air. Moving on, third speaker. You speak of tourism and all the money which it brings to our country. Yes, tourism is our main industry and brings millions of dollars annually. But I ask, who does this money go to? Who truly benefits from this resource? I echo the words of my speech. 72% of large hotel chains are owned by non-Bahamians. So obviously comfort is not being afforded to legally recognized nationals of the state. If foreigners are reaping the benefits of our resources more than we are, how is comfort being afforded to Bahamians? I leave you with this. You have put the Bahamas on a showy pedestal in the name of potential. And so I ask again, why haven't we acted on such potential? Remember, wherewithal also includes the will. The moot should fall. Moderator.
Rebutting for the proposition, Master T. Ron Strapp, Aquinas College.
Honorable judges, worthy opponents, fellow teammates. I am the rebuttal speaker of the proposition, and today I have the distinct pleasure of debunking the counter-arguments presented, along with strengthening my team's position. Speakers 1, 2, and 3, you all mentioned the lack of resources here. However, my team is not insinuating that we produce everything ourselves. Like all developing nations, we are reliant on other countries for resources that we ourselves do not manufacture. As my second speaker stated, we have the land, we have the sun, we have the rain, we have the resources to feed ourselves. We have the wherewithal needed to provide comfort to our citizens. Speaker 1, you also mentioned that the Bahamas is in debt. But my opponents, please tell me, which country does not have a national debt? With the rebounding of tourism and the diversification of our economy, we already see a decrease in the deficit and an increase in the revenue, which adds to the already richest GDP per capita in the entire Caribbean. We have the wherewithal to provide a comfortable life for our citizens, regardless of our debt. Speaker 1, you mentioned that 39% of the economy live below the poverty line. However, this number was just introduced during this pandemic. As I stated before, with the rebounding of tourism and the diversification of our economy, there are now many opportunities for these individuals to empower themselves, to work, therefore providing a comfortable life. Speaker 2, you mentioned the dire state of our health services. But might I remind you from my speech, $90 million was invested just 6 months ago into improving our public healthcare systems. We have the wherewithal to provide comfort even to those in the public sector. Speakers 1 and 2, you spoke of the lack of jobs and increase in crime here in your country. However, as my team asserted, diversifying the economy using the revenue generated from our various industries will create jobs, reducing crime, and therefore provide comfort, both mentally and physically. Speaker 2, you also questioned the sustainability of minimum wage. But as my first speaker stated, we have thousands, if not millions of dollars to pour into royal trips or visits from the Queen. Today, we are debating if the Bahamas has the wherewithal, which we do, especially if we invest and use the revenue to develop our industries. We have the wherewithal to improve the standard of living of our citizens, therefore providing comfort. Speakers 1, 2, and 3, you asked how our resources can make us comfortable. But let me remind you of the figures presented. With a $2.9 million revenue from tourism, $90 million from fishing, and many other forms of income from various industries, we have the revenue, the wherewithal to make our citizens comfortable. Honorable judges, the figures my first speaker presented about the royal visits and the business trips total $1.7 million, which proves that we have the wherewithal to provide comfortable lives for our citizens. Although there may be government officials that go on rogue and take money illegally, we have to remember that today we are arguing that the Bahamas has the wherewithal to provide a comfortable life for its citizens. It is just as important to recognize all of the resources we have from fishing, farming, tourism, which not only brings income but job opportunities, providing this comfort. My opponents, you sit here today and question if your own country has the wherewithal to provide comfortable lives for its citizens, when the fact that we are the richest Caribbean nation, have countless job opportunities and resources, and many government-provided services free of charge, proves our argument today that the Bahamas indeed has the wherewithal to provide comfortable lives for its citizens. Moderator.
Today's orators spoke with such conviction that I certainly do not envy the task ahead for our judges. We invite the officials at this time to head off to the deliberation room, at which time there will be a musical selection by R.M. Bailey Senior High School, followed by Mr. McPhee of Aquinas College.
Good morning, everybody. Unfortunately, although we would like to bless y'all with our melodious voices, we will not be singing today. Instead, we will be performing a motivational piece. Thank you.
The power of words. Did you know the Holy Bible speaks to us about the power of words in dozens of key scriptures? Proverbs chapter 16, verses 24 advises, kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul and healthy for the body. Lesson, use the power of words to uplift others in the vein of kindness.
In Colossians 4, verse 6, we are told, let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer each person. Lesson, be cordial and friendly with your words as you interact with others.
Proverbs 12, verses 18 warns us to be careful, as there is one whose words are rash and are like sword thrusts, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. The lesson: think before you speak unto others, and avoid unintentional hurt.
Finally, a Bible verse our elders emphasize is Proverbs 18, verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. The lesson: speak positive things over yourselves and others instead of words of negativity, as you breathe life into what you say. We hope you have been moved by our words and choose to use your words wisely. Moderator.
And with our vote of thanks, at this time we welcome Mrs. Celestina Cooper Williams, Acting Education Officer, Student Development Section. Let us welcome her, please.
Thank you very much, Master Moderator. Teamwork makes the dream work. Today, I stand to highlight the team and other individuals who have contributed in making this 24th National Debate Final competition a success. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge and say thank you to our Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training, which is our main sponsor of this event. I'd like to single out our Minister Glennis Hannah Martin for her presence here earlier today, Director Marcellus Taylor in his absence for the role that he played, Deputy Director of Education, Ms. Sharon Poitier, for her contribution as well as bringing remarks and encouragement to all of our contestants. Acting Assistant Director of Education, Mr. Dwayne Higgins, in his absence, for the role that he has played as our supervisor of the Student Development Section. Let's give them a round of applause. A heartfelt thank you goes out to Mr. Peter Phillips, who could not be here today, but he really wanted to. He is the Managing Director of Brass and Leather, and many persons who have been involved in debate know that Mr. Phillips is the person every single year he donates bags to our contestants. This year is no different. So each of the contestants will be receiving a gift certificate and they can go into brass and leather and select any item that they wish. So let's give Mr. Phillips a round of applause. I would like to say a heartfelt thank you to all of our officials. You've partnered with the Student Development Section and came on this journey with us from, I think it was November of last year when we had our workshop. And I also wish to thank all of the officials who served here today. I want to say, and I say this all of the time, and I really do mean it, you are invaluable. We cannot do this without you. And I want to say thank you to our chief judge and all of the judges, timekeeper, scorekeeper, and our 2 moderators who did an awesome job. Let's give them a round of applause. Special thanks is extended to Ms. Monique Fernanda and the BCPOU Hall, the BCPOU team, who helped with setting up this hall and for the use of this hall today. I also want to say thank you to the officers of the Student Development Section. They are seated at the back. Special thanks goes out to Ms. Tania Brown for designing this year's certificates, as well as the design that you see on our program. I want to say thank you to Mrs. Alicia Bethel. She is responsible for the layout of our program and the invitations that you received. Thank you also goes out to Mrs. Sharon Scavella and Miss Cynthia Edgecombe, who assisted with ushering and setting up. Thank you to the team. I want to say thank you to the communication section for recording this event, and so to your supervisor, Mr. Byron Thompson, in his absence, the cameraman, and all of the persons at the back. We want to say that we really appreciate the work that you're doing today, as well as the final product that will be given to us so that we can use it probably for training purposes. So thank you for the work that you do every year. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you goes out to Bahamas Engraving for the trophies that you will receive today. And I wish to highlight our district superintendents, our principals, debate coaches, and every participating school that came on this journey with us from October of 2021. We know because of the structure of our islands, the makeup of our islands, all of our teams could not be here today. But I want to recognize all of our family of islands, all of our independent schools, as well as our public schools that participated in our national debate series this year. Moving right along, I wish to say thank you to Reverend Henry Knowles, principal of Queens College. He was mentioned earlier, and our debate chairperson for the BAISS. He was very instrumental in ensuring that information was disseminated to our independent schools, and very instrumental in ensuring that many of the students who participated on our program are here today. So let's give him a round of applause. Last but not least, I wish to say thank you to the students who participated on the program. So Whitney Cherilus, thank you for your prayer. Danae Green from Bahamas Academy, we say thank you for your warm welcome. Destiny Moss for that awesome violin selection, beautiful, yes. Mr. Hannah, the musician who played skillfully for us. And at the very last minute, Mr. Sawyer and the students of R.M. Bailey, who did that awesome presentation that offered words of encouragement to all of us. Let's give them a round of applause. Finally, I want to say thank you to the debaters of the 2 teams. You did an awesome job, both of you. Awesome job. I wish to recognize your coaches. So let's say thank you to Miss Yvette Sweeting, the head coach of Aquinas, Miss Elizabeth Morrison, pardon me, who's the assistant coach of Aquinas, and Miss Karen Gay Knight, the head coach of St. Augustine's College. Thank you for the awesome job. And then as I leave the lectern, I want to say thank you for the parents. I want to say thank you for the education officers. Thank you for some of the officials. I sent out an invitation to all of our officials who served this year, and some of them are here. So I want to say thank you to the Sira, pronounced correctly? The Sira family. That's a mother and son team who serves as a judge and a moderator. Just wave for us, please. So thank you for coming. We also have Miss Joy Williams, who also serve. Is there any other official in the audience? Of course, we have Miss Demetria Roll. She has taken a back seat this year, but she's always willing to assist. She assisted with our workshop this year. So I want to say thank you to you. And then we also have Education Officer sitting in the audience. Just wave to us. Wave. Thank you very much. So I want to say thank you to all of you, the parents. I see the teachers from the various schools. Thank you for all the role that you have played in making this final debate competition a success. Now, back to our moderator, who will call our chief judge to give the results.
Now it is time, the moment we have all been waiting for. Who will it be? The Aquinas College Aces. Let's hear it for them. Any aces in the house? Any former aces? Any people who hope to be aces? Or will it be the St. Augustine's College Big Red Machine? Any suckers in the house? Please give a huge welcome, because he likes audience participation and he likes attention. To huge welcome to our Chief Judge, Mr. Dion Johnson, who will come with the summary and results.
Thank you for that warm welcome back to this podium. Be it resolved that the Bahamas has the wherewithal to provide a comfortable life for its citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a wonderful round of applause to our contestants right now, our debaters. You took us through 7 wonderful rounds of jostling, fighting, and punching with words, and great analogies. Wonderful figurative language and devices have been used. Very good personal conviction. The audibility was excellent. Gestures, the confidence that you exuded from you was how you say the word? Was emanating from your pause. The timeline and research that you have done and the current research that you would have given provided towards the expertise to showing that you would have done your research and you would have practiced and prepared for this day. It was so evident that every single member of the debating team knew the words to come of the speeches of their teammates. That is very much so commendable. That shows unity. And so those are our commendations. We do have some recommendations, of course. As you begin to address the moot, we suggest that you clearly define the keywords. That helps with the reasoning skills that you would have given. Clearly define your keywords. Pace yourself, because if you give too great of a pace, it will inevitably affect your fluency. Stating information without a source, of course, we call it plagiarism in other ways, but we would want you to be mindful that if you are going to say something, if you're going to use numbers, and you're calling them facts, they must come from a source. The risk that we take, of course, is a great one, but we also want you to be mindful as you are preparing your speeches, in doing your research, both proposition and opposition, you would know what the other team would present. Don't beat them to presenting it. Allow them to present it. Don't tell us they can present it. Yeah. What I like to see, and I've always said this at the very end, is a lot of vocal variety. I appreciate that. And so although we have the use of this microphone, you don't have to use it. You don't have to depend on it for us to see the expression in your words and the expressions in your sentences. If you truly are convicted personally by your speeches, we will be able to tell. And so you don't have to shout at us, because when you shout more, that does not make what you're saying more true. Okay? And so, at this time, it's time for us to have some presentations. And so, I would like to call our coaches for both sides first. And then we will call all participants, both current as well as the substitutes, to come to receive their awards for participation. So first we're going to have Aquinas. Okay.
Madam Deputy Director of Education, your role is going to be a heavy one today. It's just you one here left. So we need you to assist with these presentations, please. Mr. Cameraman, is it okay if she remain down there? Okay, thank you. All right, we want to call to the stage, to the front, head coach of Aquinas College, Miss Yvette Sweeting, and assistant coach, Miss Elizabeth Morrison, if she's here, please. We are presenting you with a certificate of participation and appreciation. Continue to clap. You can receive on her behalf. Okay, thank you. Okay, all right. All right. Madam Head Coach, you can remain there. Our Chief Judge is just saying that we're good. Madam Head Coach, Sweeting, you can remain there. We also want to call up the team so we can take a group photo one time. So we want to recognize Miss Jasmine Hanna. We'll start with the females first. Miss Alicia Eden, is she here today? She's the alternate for the Aquinas team. Master T-Ron and D-Ron Strap. I can't separate those two names, because I know they're used to being together. T-Ron and D, you got to give them double claps. All right. Let me come out of your picture. Okay, thank you very much, Aquinas College. We now call to the front the head coach of the St. Augustine's College, Miss Kieran Gay Knight. Give her a round of applause. and the team that she has ably worked with. Let's call to the front Alexis Godet, Tiara Stubbs, Kobe Forbes, Stephen Ambrister, and Javon Pratt. Give them a round of applause. Just before we call on our chief judge to give the results, I do not have $1 million. I really wish I did. I did not order a caterer today, Mr. Taylor. I wish I had the funds to do it. But I can give you a certificate of participation and appreciation, which I will do. Okay? So I wish to acknowledge our officials. I really, really appreciate you, and I need to pause here just for a moment to say that we have some persons who've just come on stream. I want to make mention of Miss Phyllis Bain. She's one of our newest. She's from the Refocus section. Thank you for coming out. My good friend, Charisma Roberts. She's new and she's coming on stream. We have new persons who are coming in. We have Mr. Rostin Moss, Crooked Island man. Even when he is not slated to work, this gentleman wants to serve. He's not missed any competition. And when I don't put his name on the roster, he calls me and says, "Where's the venue? I'm going to be there." So I want to say thank you, Mr. Rostin Moss. And I want to also, do we have anybody else who's new? All right, so we have Mr. Denzel Syrah, thank you, and his mom, Miss Syrah, mother and son team, they're also new, wanting to serve. Miss Syrah said that, she was a debate coach. She said, "I want to do it. I want to take this another step." So I want to thank you, too, for serving. And also Miss Joy Williams, yes, another one of our new officials who is serving this. Yes, I want to say thank you to all of you. So I want to call you now, those persons who served, for your certificate of appreciation. Our moderators, didn't they do an awesome job? We got to keep this team together. Mr. Marcel Gibson and Miss Kachara Marshall. We can all do a group photo, so I'm going to call you quickly. Our Chief Judge, Mr. Dion Johnson. Mr. Rostin Moss, Judge. Mrs. Georgette Turnquest, always there when we need her. Mrs. Halnika Bodie Bean. Mr. Paul Taylor. We want to say thank you to Miss Vernay Knight, Mrs. Jennifer Bain Miller, and Charisma Roberts, Mrs. Charisma Roberts Smith, and Miss Janet Stirrup, all of our officials who served today. All right, keep clapping for them. Keep clapping for them. They served from November to April, so they deserve the applause.
Pre-COVID photo.
At this time, I would like to call to the photo stage our best speaker for the proposition, Miss Jasmine Hanna. And for the opposition, St. Augustine's College, our best speaker with a total of 496 minus 5 for a 30-second penalty, Miss Alexa Godet. Alexis Godet. Just for information, Miss Jasmine Hanna's points were 482. So our overall best speaker is Miss Alexis Godet. And the results that we have been waiting for, it has been determined that the team, with the better use of sources by applying the facts to reasoning and the rebuttal strategy, the championship is awarded to St. Augustine's College with a total of 1,510 points. Aquinas College received 1,374 points. I'll repeat the score once again. Aquinas College with a total of 1,374 points. St. Augustine's College, 1,510 points.
We would like to just let you know what our contestants are going to be receiving. In fact, both teams are going to be receiving almost the same thing. Okay, except the floating trophy that goes to the champion. So we are presenting each of our contestants our champions with a participation trophy, we'd also like to call Mr. Javon Pratt. He's there. Mr. Javon Pratt, come and stand with your team. Mr. Umbristo, you're also an alternate. You could come and stand with your team as well. And in addition to the trophy, you see that they have that little box. That is the gift certificate from Mr. Phillips. It has a voucher of $150. Generous. Both teams will receive that, so they can go to Brass and Leather any day that they choose and pick out whatever they desire from Brass and Leather. I'm also going to be presenting each of them with a cash prize, compliments of the Ministry of Education. Our best speaker of the opposition will receive 3 envelopes because she's getting the envelope that every participant will get. She's getting an envelope for best speaker of the opposition, and she's also getting an envelope for overall best speaker. So mom and dad, lunch is on her today. Now, with the same enthusiasm and vigor, help me welcome to the front Team Aquinas College. Let's give them a round of applause. And I think you both, Teron, and y'all are 10th graders? Y'all are 10th graders or 11th graders? Oh, y'all are 12th graders. All of y'all? Okay, will do. Alicia, please come and stand with your team, my dear.
Thank you, Deputy Director Poiter, for assisting us with the presentation of awards. It has definitely been a most riveting melee of minds here today, and let us give one more final rousing round of applause to our wonderful orators. We look forward to seeing any of you, all of you are 12th graders? Wow, okay. So we look forward to seeing both schools during the next cycle of the debate competition. Thank you, everyone, for being such a wonderful audience. Thank you for the officials. Thank you to Ms. Celestina Cooper-Williams and her team for an amazing job here today. Thank you all.
Congratulations. Thank you.